Oh yeah, there was definitely carnage at the box office, and it came in the form of 007, Mr. James Bond himself. License to kill, motherfuckers. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Once again, I am Robert Storms. As always, if you're finding me for the very first time, please be sure to click that like button, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. That way you guys can stay up to date on all future content here on the channel. So this past week, James Bond, Daniel Craig's final movie as 007 himself, hit theaters, and of course, like we all thought, they knocked out Venom at the box office. I don't know why anybody's really surprised about that. Like, really, guys, you're surprised about that? Come on. So we're looking at the numbers right now. No Time to Die came in at 56.007 at the box office, taking the number one spot. Venom dropping down to number two with 32 million, dropping 64%. I said before, anywhere between 55 to 65. That's about normal depending on how big its opening was. Obviously, a lot of people wanted to go see Venom last week, so everybody kind of rushed to see it opening weekend. And then the people that weren't super excited for it went to go see it throughout the week with matinees and, of course, the second weekend. But with James Bond, I think a lot of people didn't give this movie as much credit as that they should have, really. Whether you like James Bond or not, whether you are a fan of Daniel Craig's Bond or Bond in general, you have to realize that there is a demographic out there that really likes these movies. And seeing how that Daniel Craig is mostly everybody's favorite, mostly everybody, I'm not speaking for everybody, but is, most fans really love Daniel Craig's James Bond. And seeing how this is going to be his final performance as James Bond, this is the final chapter, and this movie was delayed since last year. A lot of us have been waiting to see this movie. It's no surprise that it took the number one spot. 56 million on its opening weekend. Of course, this movie is going to make a lot more money overseas. This is a UK type movie where they're going to be making a lot of money over there in England and London and everywhere in the UK. Let There Be Carnage dropped down 64%, made 32 million. On the second weekend. That's not entirely bad, with 185 worldwide so far, with 141 here domestically, 43.9 overseas. So not bad numbers for Venom. Again, we're just got past its second weekend. It hasn't even been in theaters for 2 weeks. It's only been in theaters for 1 full week and a weekend. So it's been in theaters for like a week and 2 days. So again, these aren't bad numbers. I don't know what people are really expecting, especially with the atmosphere that the theater chains and stuff is going through right now. So I don't understand why a lot of people would be disappointed with those numbers. That's about set, to be honest with you. If you want me to compare it to like Black Widow and Shang-Chi, that's about on pace of what those movies made in this pandemic. There's only been a couple movies to really break that mold. Fast and Furious is one of it, where they made all their money really overseas. Now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at No Time to Die and see how that's doing. No Time to Die has already crossed 300 million worldwide, and that's because of this right here. Big international box office, 257. That's what really helped Fast and Furious. Fast 9 was the big international box office, not so much domestically. Here domestically it's at 56. I think it might end up ranking in maybe 120 when all said and done. Maybe 120, 130 here domestically. Is going to keep racking in those numbers overseas. But right now, a nice chunk, 313 million overall worldwide. That's great number for Daniel Craig's last Bond movie. And I just want to emphasize one more time. This doesn't mean Venom's a failure. Doesn't mean it's a box office flop. Doesn't mean any of that stuff. Of course, at the end of the day, if it doesn't make its money back, it's going to be a flop. But you got to look at the atmosphere in which movies are right now. We're not getting big box office, international box office for these movies. We're not getting China releases for like Shang-Chi and all this, and that really does hurt these type of movies because these movies are made for worldwide appeal. If we're not getting that worldwide appeal, then we're not going to bring in that box office that we're looking in. Suicide Squad could have easily made just as much as Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Venom if it wasn't for HBO Max. And again, if we look at Venom and we look at Shang-Chi, imagine how much less their box office income would be if they were on Disney Plus. So you kind of got to take the positives and the negatives. It's going to be a while before we see a $1 billion movie again. Whatever movie crosses $1 billion, it's going to have to be some kind of giant spectacle because we're just not in that state of mind here with the theater, like in the state that we're living in now, when people are obviously worried about COVID and all this stuff, people aren't going to the theaters. Now, this depends where you live. I know some people that aren't allowed to go to theaters unless they are vaccinated. You have to be vaccinated to go to theaters. That's going to hurt the box office for these movies because a lot of people, and friends of mine, these are friends of mine that refuse to get vaccinated, can't go to the theaters to see these movies because the theaters have rules that you have to be vaccinated to enter the theater and see the movie. They're resorting to bootlegging and pirating. So that's taking chunks of the box office as well. So there's all kinds of different factors in why these movies are failing. Suicide Squad because of HBO Max, Venom, Shang-Chi, Black Widow, Disney Plus, all these things, like whether it's vaccinated, pirating, or streaming services, all these has a factor in it. This ain't 2019 where we were getting movies left and right and they were all hitting billions of dollars. That was very much pre-pandemic. We don't know if we're ever going to get past this. I'm hoping we're going to get past this. But overall, anyone who's actually saying that Venom is a failure, we have to wait and see because the jury's still out. Again, we're entering into its second weekend. We're not we didn't pass the second week yet. We just got to the second week. Let's see how it performs. It's going to have some stiff competition coming up. James Bond is here now, so that's probably going to drop about 50%. That's probably going to rack in another $25 million next weekend. We have Halloween Kills coming out on the 15th, I believe, and then we got Ghostbusters, and then we're hitting Eternal. So it's going to be some big hitters coming up for Venom. It's not going to be an easy road as we're finishing up its run here at the box office. So, overall, I think it's pretty good considering the landscape and what we're dealing with. I don't think Venom is a failure as of yet, but we have to see how it finishes. Hopefully, it will have legs. But I want to know what you guys think. Be sure to leave your comments in the comment box below. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.